I'm gonna tell you something. I'm Star-Lord. I formed the Guardians. Met a girl, fell in love. That girl died, but then she came back. Came back a total dick.
Oh, please. He left out some important information, but that is the gist of it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Reviews. Today we are reviewing the newly released Phase 5 Marvel movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3, the final Guardians of the Galaxy film of this team of Guardians that we've known for literally almost 10 years. Like, literally, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, came out in 2014. These guys, they've been around for a while.
Oh, what the hell? I don't got that long a lifespan anyway. Now I'm standing. You all happy? We're all standing up now. Bunch of jackasses standing in a circle.
And also, it's the last film directed by James Gunn, who has basically been the, carrier of all of this, the creator and director of all of these. And after this, he's going to play a large part in DC. So yeah, this movie, I have been waiting for this movie for a long time, easily since the end of Avengers Endgame. And here it is, 4 years later. So, many of the Guardians returning for this last movie. We have many familiar faces. We have Chris Pratt starring as Peter Quill, Star-Lord. We have Zoe Saldana as Gamora, even though this Gamora, she's not the same Gamora that we've known from the first two movies. That Gamora died in Avengers Infinity War when Thanos threw her off the cliff for the Soul Stone. This Gamora is the Gamora that we saw in Avengers Endgame that came from 2014, and when Tony snapped his fingers, she didn't die. So yeah, basically this is a Gamora that really has no memory of the Guardians of the Galaxy. She's basically just, and as well, this Gamora, she doesn't really know Peter Quill, her boyfriend. So yeah, this is very interesting. We also have Dave Bautista returning as Drax. We have Pom Klementieff returning as Mantis, who we found out in Guardians the Holiday Special that she is Peter's half sister. We have Karen Gillan as Nebula, and we have, as my two favorites, we have Vin Diesel voicing Groot, who is now a big boy. He's all grown up. He is aka Swole Groot.
Out of the way, dumber, smaller Groot!
And we have the person that this film is mostly about. We have Rocket Raccoon being voiced by Bradley Cooper. Yeah, this movie is basically Rocket's story. We learned finally the backstory of Rocket Raccoon, just everything he's gone through. And finally, we also have, for supporting characters, we have Sean Gunn, at James Gunn's younger brother, as Kraglin. We have Maria Belloca as Cosmo the Space Dog. She's voicing it. That's the dog that you see, that's an actual dog, that's not a CGI dog. And as our villains, we have Adam Warlock being portrayed by Will Poulter. And we have our main villain, the High Evolutionary. And yeah, so before I really get into plot points, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen the movie yet, click off, watch it. I'll see you later. And yeah, this is your warning. So yeah, let's get into this. So this, as I said, this is Rocket's movie. Like, we truly get into the backstory of Rocket Raccoon and just what he's been through, like, before he ever met the Guardians, or even before he even met Groot. Like, this movie, it's his movie. Like, I'll say that. This is his movie. Like, I mean, and Rocket, we all love Rocket. I mean, like, he's a genius with a gun.
Oh, yeah.
He's a professional asshole.
And for a second, I got a warm feeling, but then it was ruined by those disgusting-ass teeth.
You like a professional asshole or what?
Pretty much a pro.
And he has a very strange interest in metal body parts.
There's one more thing we need to complete the plan. That guy's eye.
No, we don't. No, we don't need that guy's eyes.
No, seriously, I need it. It's important to me.
I don't know why, but yeah. But we learn Rocket's backstory. That Rocket, he was a raccoon, obviously, or he is a raccoon. He was experimented on by the High Evolutionary.
He didn't want to make things perfect. He just hated things the way they are.
And he met friends. He met friends when he actually gained the ability to talk, and after he was experimented on. His friends Lila as an otter, Teefs the walrus, and as a rabbit named Floor, because, yeah, interesting story there with how they chose their names. And they were all they all had this faith in the High Evolutionary that he was building a perfect world, trying to create the perfect society because he believes in perfection. And he basically experiments on these animals, he experiments on animals hoping to create a perfect society, to evolve them into create just the perfect society, or what he views as the perfect society. And at first, many of his experiments, they go wrong. He tries to basically evolve animals at a really high speed, but every single time he does this, all the animals, they go nuts, and his experiments are a failure. But not until Rocket, he comes up with a solution to actually make it so that the animals, they don't go insane. A solution that even the High Evolutionary himself didn't realize. And this really intrigues the High Evolutionary as to what's going on with Rocket's brain. Like, why is it so different from any of his other experiments? So over time, Rocket finds out that the High Evolutionary, that him and his friends, they will not be joining these new animals on the new world that the High Evolutionary is building, and that he is ordering his friends to be exterminated, and for Rocket to be dissected solely for his brain. Rocket attempts to break out him and his friends, but unfortunately the High Evolutionary, in the process, he kills Lila and Tease and Floor, and in retaliation, Rocket mauls the High Evolutionary's face, and he escapes. And that's Rocket's horrible backstory. Like, I mean, I always loved Rocket, but yeah, his backstory is absolutely brutal. Like, I mean, before this, we definitely could say probably Gamora and Star-Lord had the saddest backstories, but yeah, no, Rocket, you take the place as the most horrible backstory of any of the Guardians. So now to the present, the Guardians, as we know from the holiday special, they purchased Nowhere from the Collector, and that's now their base of operations. And pretty much, and Star-Lord, he is a bit depressed due to the fact that Gamora that he knew is dead, and that the Gamora that now exists in their universe doesn't know who the hell he is. So yeah, he's kind of drunk and passed out.
That beautiful sky.
But meanwhile, while this is going on, Adam Warlock comes to nowhere to try to kidnap Rocket and take him to the High Evolutionary. In the process, Rocket is injured, and the Guardians, they try to heal him, but unfortunately, due to the cybernetics within him, Rocket is unable to be healed. So in order to do this, they need to basically turn off some of Rocket's cybernetics in order to heal him, otherwise Rocket will die. So basically this becomes an adventure to try to save Rocket's life with all the Guardians going.
And we'll kill anyone who gets in our way.
No, not kill anyone.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
And Cosmo and Kraglin being responsible for nowhere, just holding down the fort while the Guardians go to save Rocket. And they basically go to this company that is actually run by the High Evolutionary to try to find like plans on like Rocket, and the Guardians, they gain help from the Ravengers, which are being led by none other than Gamora, which this really, it makes things awkward for Star-Lord, since, you know, he's basically helping his, what was once his girlfriend, but she doesn't know who he is. And while this is, and seeing that everything is so awkward for Peter begins to, in this film, with, you know, Gamora being with him now, he begins to flirt with every single woman he sees in the film. He flirts with Nebula, and even flirts with some girl in the place that they're trying to break into.
Whoever it was that you were in love with, it sounds more like her.
Her? That's ridiculous.
Do not bring me into this.
Knock it off!
What? Just never noticed how black your eyes were.
They were replaced by my father as a method of torture.
He picked a pretty set.
It's very interesting, and seeing all this, Mantis, she tries to help her half-brother by trying to explain to him that his whole life he's been jumping from lily pad to lily pad as a frog, and he needs to tone it down, and that honestly she thinks the best thing for him is to go back to Earth, and Peter immediately says no, he doesn't want to go back to Earth since that's where he experienced a lot of pain, even though technically he has been there. But, so, basically, the Guardians, they sneak into this place, they are able to find some of the plans for Rocket, and they also, they're able to find some of the plans, but unfortunately these plans, they don't go over this certain component that is preventing Rocket from being healed, and so, the Guardians, they go over to, they go directly right to where the High Evolutionary is on his perfect world, which is counter-Earth, much to the resistance of Gamora, who does not want to be a part of this. And in the process, Adam Warlock is also pursuing them due to the fact that Adam, he is being directed by the High Evolutionary to go and get Rocket, because basically Adam Warlock's creators, the Sovereign, who were somewhat villains from the second movie, who the Guardians really pissed off.
High Priestess, the Council is waiting.
They are perturbed I've wasted our resources. When they see what I have created here, their wrath will dissipate.
It's a new type of birthing pod, man?
That, my child, is the next step in our evolution. More powerful, more beautiful, more capable of destroying the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think I shall call him Adam.
Basically, the High Evolutionary, he's basically threatening the Sovereign that he's going to destroy them, since he actually created them as well. So, yeah, like Adam, he really kind of wants to, you know, please the High Evolutionary. So, the Guardians, they arrive at this counter-Earth that the High Evolutionary is basically revered as a god. And, it's basically populated by humanoid animals, like intelligent animals. And immediately the Guardians, they are not really welcomed there.
But no matter what happens next, the galaxy still needs its guardians. Hello, we come in peace. Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude?
No, 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 no! Ow!
But by the residents of the place. So, but despite this, they go right to the High Evolutionary. Star-Lord, Groot, and Nebula. They go to right to the High Evolutionary. Gamora watches over Rocket and Drax and Mantis. They also go. They're ordered to go back to the ship, but instead they decide to just go and help the rest of the Guardians. But meanwhile, when the majority of the Guardians, they arrive at the High Evolutionary's his actual pyramid, where he rules over, they pretty much fall right into his trap, and just it looks like the Guardians are about to be, at least Groot and Peter are about to be captured by the High Evolutionary. Turns out they pretty much outsmarted him, and they set off an explosion, and they were actually able to get the override code for Rocket from one of the High Evolutionary's main computers to basically now save Rocket's life. And in the process, Adam Warlock, he also tries to attack Rocket and Gamora, who are still on the ship. And in the process, Gamora is also able to save Groot and Peter. And while this happens, they actually save Rocket's life moments right after he flatlines. He actually dies. Sees Lila, Teefs, and Floor, but just before he decides that and Rocket, he actually wants to just die. He doesn't want to, he doesn't want to live his life anymore. But Lila, she tells him that his story's not over, and then he comes back to life. So Rocket is safe, but the High Evolutionary is still out there, and to make matters worse, Drax, Mantis, and Nebula are still on the High Evolutionary's pyramid, and they're kind of taken prisoners by him, and also they're with kids that he created. So now the other Guardians, they need to save their friends that are trapped on the High Evolutionary's ship, and in order to do this, they get help from everyone on Nowhere. And apparently, they rigged Nowhere to basically fly as a giant spaceship, which that's awesome. I was not expecting that to happen. So the High Evolutionary, he's still obsessed with trying to get Rocket in his brain. So the two, they all meet. They're able to save Drax, Nebula, and Mantis. And as well, they begin to save the kids and also all the creatures that Alright, sorry about that, guys. I had hiccups. But, yeah. So, in the process, the Guardians, they try to free all the kids that their friends and the kids that the High Evolutionary is holding hostage. And while this is going on, the Guardians, after freeing all the kids and their friends, Gamora and quite a few of the Guardians, they're happy. They want to run. They want to go and get out of there. But Rocket, he wants to kill the High Evolutionary. He's done running. He wants to meet his maker and get his revenge.
We have been running our whole lives.
Pete, I'm done running.
For him and his friends. So the Guardians all set out to try and defeat the High Evolutionary. In the process, they have an epic hallway fight, and Rocket, he sees many of the innocent animals that the High Evolutionary still has imprisoned, and he comes to the realization that, yes, he is a raccoon. And he even says it, when the High Evolutionary confronts him, he truly says his name for the first time.
1 more. 8, 9,
The name's Rocket. Rocket Raccoon.
In epic fashion, as the Guardians beat down the High Evolutionary, and they don't kill the High Evolutionary, they just leave him there to die in his exploding ship. So the Guardians, they get themselves and all the animals out of the exploding ship. In the process, Star-Lord almost dies. He gets left behind on the ship, and just as he's trying to jump back to nowhere, he gets stuck in space, and it looks like he's about to die. But he doesn't die. He is saved by Adam Warlock, who has a change of heart due to the Guardians actually saving him as well. So everyone makes it out. No one dies. I am shocked. Like, I honestly thought I thought quite a few of the Guardians were gonna die, but no one died, and I'm happy. So with everyone all safe and sound, the Guardians they meet up, and and Peter, he decides that the Guardians as we know them, they're done. They decide to break up. Peter, he decides to basically do the thing he's not been wanting to do his whole life, and he decides to go to Earth to meet his grandfather for the first time since he was abducted as a kid. Mantis decides to go on her own and discover her own adventures. And Nebula and Drax, they decide to help raise some of the kids that they just freed from the High Evolutionary, and also just help run Nowhere. And Gamora, she goes back with the Ravengers. And finally, Groot and Rocket are the last two that remain in the Guardians of the Galaxy, which are now being led by Rocket Raccoon. So that's awesome. And the Guardians, they all go their separate ways as the curtain closes on the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, this movie was so good. And I'm so happy no one died. Except the High Evolutionary. But, yeah. So we have, in the credit scenes, we have Peter reuniting with his grandfather and just eating cereal and talking about doing things like mowing the lawn and other things, and it's implied that the legendary Star-Lord will return, which it's a good thing since a certain someone is about to invade Earth, and him and his variants are going to conquer it.
How many did you call?
All of us.
There's a whole lot of Kangs that are going to be coming soon. And as well, we see in the other mid-credit scene, we see the new team of the Guardians of the Galaxy, led by Rocket and Groot, who is now huge. Like, what happened to him? As well, we have Kraglin and Cosmo, and the two newest members. We have Adam Warlock, and we have one of the kids that the Guardians rescued from the High Evolutionary, named Phyla Vell, who in the comics she is extremely powerful, even though here she's like a 10-year-old kid. So we'll see what happens with her and everyone. And they also the new Guardians, they listen to Come and Get Your Love, which is where the whole series began, with Peter Quill dancing to it. But yeah, it's fun. This movie was so good. Like, it's the movie that, like, I think many of us have been hoping for since Endgame. Like, Marvel, really, since Endgame has not been as good, the quality. But this movie, it definitely is my favorite movie since Endgame. Like, all the characters, they really did amazing. I mean, especially Bradley Cooper as Rocket. Like, this was his story, but he did amazing. And just all these characters, given what they had, and the fact that at first, like, in the years since Endgame, at first it didn't seem like this movie was going to happen, but it did, and like everyone did great. Unfortunately, Adam Warlock, who really many of us were waiting to see since he was teased in the mid-credits of Guardians of Volume 2, he did not really live up to his potential. They really kind of nerfed him in this. Like, I mean, of course we will see more of him, but Adam Warlock in the comics, he's one of the most powerful, like, people in the comics. Like, no one can beat him. and it's just they really nerfed him in this. Meanwhile, Chuck Woody, he did amazing as the High Evolutionary. Like, I'm so happy we finally got a Marvel villain that I don't feel bad for in the slightest. Like, this guy is a awful, like, person, and he got exactly what he deserved, and I was so happy when he finally died. I hope he's dead. Please tell me he's dead. He deserves it. After everything he did, there's no justification for what he did. Like Marvel tends to have villains that we understand them, but, like, not this guy. Like, I hate him. He got what he deserved, and yeah. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, my rating for this movie, I think James Gunn did so good with this movie, and I'm really sad that this is over. Like, this trilogy in Marvel, this definitely is the best Marvel trilogy so far, at least. And yeah, it's a bit bittersweet that this is the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy as we know them. But my rating for this movie, I give this movie an A, a solid A. Like, it's a really good movie. Go watch it. It was, at first it really looked like it was going to be a financial flop, but luckily it's hopefully will not be. But yeah, guys, let's get into the next movie that we're going to be reviewing and watching. I'm actually going to be watching it tomorrow. Well, it also stars Vin Diesel, and it's a movie series that probably should have ended at the 7th, but here we are at the 10th, and it's about as insane as you could imagine. Here's the trailer.
Dominic Toretto, you're about to learn all about fear. Boom! You built such a beautiful life, filled with love and family. I never got that chance. You stole that from me. My future. My family. And now, I'm gonna break yours. Piece by piece.
Yeah, that's right. Fast X. Let's see what happens. Let's see if they went to space in the last movie, and who knows? Anything is possible with the Fast series. Anyway, guys, I'm done this video off right here. If y'all like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.
It's over.